Gridiron Insiders, the newest innovation to college football recruiting. Gridiron Insiders is a web-based college football recruiting management software. Each coach is given access to player biographies, which include the player's athletic build, statistics, and overall character. Using these player biographies, coaches are able to track progress with the nation's top recruits from the first call they make till National Signing Day. We realize that the needs of each team are different, and different player skill sets are a better fit for certain programs. Our software allows coaches to create customized recruiting lists based on who fits their team's needs the most. By doing so, our software provides a competitive advantage over the other universities' recruiting systems by making the search and follow process much easier on the busy college coaches. Recently, college football has encountered many issues with recruiting violations. We hope that by making the recruiting process easier for the college coaches to manage, we can return integrity to college football and put an end to these recruiting violations. This is the context-level data flow diagram for Gridiron Insiders Management System. As you can see, there are 4 external entities which include new coaches, current coaches, new recruits, and current recruits. New coaches have availability to new recruit profiles, and they can turn these into personalized recruiting lists. After this, they can then go in and update these recruiting lists. As for the new recruits, they enter in their information and they get a recruit biography. Then they can go in and update this recruit biography. This is the level 0 data flow diagram for Gridiron Insiders. As you can see, the external entities will be Gridiron Insiders coaches and Gridiron Insiders players, along with the management. As you can see, we have 3 processes here. The first one being track recruits, the second one being schedule event, the third one being create biography. For the create biography one, the players will enter in their information and then they will get a member info back, which will include their username. This information is then stored in the player information store. This information is also then transferred over to the coaches. For the track recruits, it allows the coaches to be able to track any communication that they have with the recruits. They can then go in and log these recruits in the call log store. This information is also sent on to management so they can check it for recruit violations. The final process is the schedule event for the players. They enter in their visit information, and in return they will get reminders on these visits. This information is stored in the player schedule store. We will now take a look at the level 2 data flow diagrams, which will take a closer look at each of these 3 processes. This is the level 2 data flow diagram for the create biography process. All of our processes have level 2 data flow diagrams that all look very similar to this. So right now we're just going to focus on the create biography process. As you can see, the player can go in and enter their information where it is then stored in the biography store. This is what creates the biography. Then as you see over here on the left, the player can then go in and update or delete their biography. Anytime there is an update or delete, it is stored in the biography store and then it is sent back to the player. This is a good example of CRUD because you can create, read, update, and delete any of the data in our data flow diagram. This is a picture of the different relationships in our ERD. As you can see, we have 5 different tables including coaches, recruit list, event, event type, and players. The 5 primary keys that we have are coach ID, recruit list ID, event type ID, and player ID. Coaches is connected to the recruit list and the event through the coach ID. The recruit list is then connected back to the event through the recruit list ID. The event is connected to the event type through the event ID and the event type ID. The events are then connected to one player through the player ID. As you can see, one coach can have many recruit lists and deal with many different events, while one event can have many different event types. There are many different events that each particular player will be evaluated in.
Next we have the project management Gantt sheet for Gridiron Insiders. First we have the analysis phase in which we analyze the current market and availability of recruiting management software. we had to identify current standards to take with us into the design phase, in which we selected our basic structure and site layout, developed marketing plans, and reviewed our overall idea. Next, in the programming phase, we had to establish the user interface, server, and application software to which we will use, as well as enter any relevant content to the site. Next, we evaluated our progress and reviewed our design, to which then we could begin testing the workability of our software. Once properly tested and we have recognized all issues, we can begin implementing our system free of error. Once free of issues, we can ensure quality in all aspects of the presentation and report of our final product. As you can see, this whole process took about 3 months to complete.
We will now take a look at the wireframe mockup of our web application. When members want to enter the site, they must first come to this home page, where they can either log in as a coach or as a player. We will start by looking at the coach's interface. By clicking on this button, we can access the coach login page. After the coach's login pops up, the coach must enter in their username and their password. Then they can log in and access their customized player recruit list. This is the coach's customized recruit list. This list will be different for every coach and could be multiple pages long depending on how many recruits that coach is tracking. As you can see, this page can be customized to match the university's colors and include their logo. When coaches want to access information about a specific recruit, they simply click on the player's name and it will take them to the recruit's personal biography. Once a coach accesses a recruit's personal biography page, that coach can see personalized information about that recruit. The coaches can customize what information they would like to see. For this example, the coach would like to see height, weight, high school, position, age, 40-yard dash time, bench press, shuffle drill time, and the coach also gave the recruit an overall grade of an A-. Not only can the coaches access information on this page, but they can also track the communications they have with each recruit. This will make the recruiting process more efficient and also make sure that no recruiting violations are broken throughout the process. They can track communication by simply clicking this button. This track communication dialog box appears, and the coaches can type in the recent communication they've had with each recruit. When finished, they click the track button and all the information is saved. This concludes the coach's interface, and we will now return to the home page by clicking the Gridiron Insiders button. We will now enter the player site by clicking on the Players button. The player login will pop up, and the player must enter in their username and password before entering their personal biography site. Once the player enters their site, the player can update their information by either typing it in or using one of these scroll down menus. This page is also very customizable, and the players can change what colors they are, and they can also upload a picture so that the coaches know what they look like. Once they have finished, they can press this submit button, which will save and or update their information. By clicking this return button, it will return to the player's personalized page. When it comes time for the players to meet with interested college coaches, they can simply click this schedule button and a calendar will pop up. This calendar will allow them to track dates in which they are going to meet with interested coaches. They can enter in the information here and then press the update schedule button, which will save the information and set reminders for when they're going to meet with these coaches.